Alrighty. Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to another episode from the Football Fan Zone. We are here again. This time, the football season in England, in fact, around the world in the top league, has come to an end. So basically, this particular show will be dedicated to doing a review of how the season has gone. Before we get into it, yeah, it's time for the introductions. Let me start with the latest European champion in the house.
You know what? You know what? Fairs, man. Fairs,
Fez,
fairs,
Fez, Fez,
fairs, 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 fairs.
Fez. God of honor from the boys. Yes. Uzo, how are you feeling? Are you feeling like a European champion?
Three words, levels don't change.
Ah, nice one.
Oh man.
But
Fez.
we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it for sure.
Definitely, we're going to get into it. Right. Let me come to the Adams. The Adams. How
Yes,
are you feeling,
sir.
man? Chelsea, your club, now back to rolling with the big boys once again.
Yeah, man. Back to where we belong. Back to where we belong. 2 seasons out of it. Back with the big boys, like you said. Champions League football. That's all we asked for, man. That's all we asked for. We're back. We're back.
Yeah, definitely. Chelsea's back. Right. Okay. Yeah, my humble self, Mr. Mahmoud is here as well. Liverpool, champions of England once again, 20th title. So yeah, we've been banging on that drum. I just thought I'd bang it one more time.
Yeah, why
Right.
not?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Why not? Why not?
Right.
I know you want it. All right, here you go. Here you go. Why not?
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
The God of Honor into a God of Honor at Crystal Palace inspired
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
I saw some bitter fans say, "Oh, woke nonsense."
You know,
I never,
when I heard it was going on, because I couldn't watch all the games, I was trying to keep up. When I heard it was going on, the first thing I thought was how cringe and trash
wait. So
this.
wait. How did that happen though? Did they go back in?
No, but when I
No.
turned it on and I rewinded because I was watching on Peacock and I saw it, I was like, you know what, Fairs, that was kind of live. I loved it. It felt perfectly synchronized. So like Liverpool walked through the Guard of Honor, and then as they got to the end, they formed their own
Yeah,
line, and then Crystal Palace
Crystal
filtered in
Palace.
and then walked out.
Oh,
It
because
was
I was
it,
saying,
it looked a lot better than it sounded. Like
oh yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
I thought
I
it
okay.
was
was one
actually
of those
thinking
things
about
where
it.
I was
someone
like,
posted that
wait, did they
meme.
go back in the tunnel and then come back out? Like, what's
That
going?
would have been really utterly cringe. You they do
Someone,
that.
someone posted that meme that that Nigerian meme of the two guys greeting each other, like both kneeling down. Is like trying to out aura each other,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it looked a lot better than it sounded. I'll say that. It looked a
yeah.
lot better than it sounded.
Yeah. First,
We
first.
did do God of Honor for you, Adams.
Nah, man. We're not getting into all this
When,
craziness.
when, when was the last time you smelled that, man?
It's
Whew.
it's it's, it's normal, bro. You're not even gonna get any God of Honor. They don't do God of Honor for European champions.
Brighton pump faked us. They said they were gonna do it. It might have been a
Really?
fake. It might have been a fake report, I guess.
Oh yeah.
But they didn't. Nah. They
Nah.
were not about that, man. All they gave us was a
Wait. So
spanking.
did you? I'm curious. Did you watch that game? Did you watch Spurs versus Brighton?
I watched the first 20 minutes, but then I had honestly, this is a good time to actually bring this up. The coverage of Premier League, especially on Super Sunday, is absolutely abysmal. Like in other sports, when there's multiple important games going on, you have the choice to filter in which games you want to watch in your multi-view.
Yeah.
But with Peacock, for one, they put the Chelsea game on TV, which meant that it wasn't available on Peacock. So if you were going to set up a multi-view on Peacock, then you couldn't get the Chelsea game. You had to put that on TV. Then if you go to TV, only the Chelsea game is on TV, so you can't set up a multi-view because the other games are on Peacock. Like what kind of let me not say brain dead because that's politically correct, but what kind of decisions for me, if you want to maximize viewership, you have to make the games accessible. And I wanted to watch all four games that had European implications: the City game, the Forest game, the Newcastle game, and the Villa game. I wanted all four available in multi-view, and that's something that Paramount does pretty well. But yeah, absolutely awful coverage. Um,
NBC. Who's us calling you out, man? You guys fix up, man. Fix
Fix
up.
up, man. If you're gonna continue to hold this license, fix up. Fix up. This is coming from a champion, you know.
Right.
Ah,
Right. Okay, guys, let's get into it. Let's start the review. I'm gonna save the European champion, the best for last. Let me start with the with Chelsea.
What do you mean the best for last? That's not the best.
I'm sorry. I'm
You
sorry.
wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. I don't. You don't know,
I
bro.
wouldn't know. Look
It's
at
been.
that.
It's been a while. It's been a
Look at that.
while.
I said I
It's
wouldn't
been a
know.
while. It's
I
been a
wouldn't
while.
know.
It's been a while. You don't. You don't know what these conversations feel like, bro.
Hey man, hey man.
Allow it. Allow it, bro. Allow it,
He
bro.
thinks he's an Arsenal fan or something, man.
Allow it, bro.
Go ahead,
Guys,
Paris.
right. Okay, so let me start with you, Adam, the Chelsea fan in the house, right? So basically, as the season has come to an end on the domestic front, I want to ask you, based on the objectives that the the board of Chelsea would have set for your manager, and based on the objective you yourself would have had in mind as a Chelsea fan for the team, how would you say, would you say that the expectation from the season has been met, or
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Like, I think we've been pretty consistent with what we expected from this team, which is Champions League football. This was even before a ball was kicked this season. Right. We looked at it and said, okay, Man City will be Man City, Arsenal will be Arsenal. We're not too sure about Liverpool, but expected that they would at least try to get into Champions League places. And we put ourselves in there and said, Champions League is the absolute minimum for us this season. And of course, it hasn't been smooth sailing. Of course, now with hindsight, it makes sense. If you look at it, right, you see that only Liverpool was the only team. I think Arsenal got their qualifications done before the last game of season, and it took them what this. I think it was the Newcastle game, which was the second to the last game of the season, and that team
absolutely,
finished
absolutely.
second. And all the other teams, Man City, Newcastle, ourselves, we went to the last day to get those to get qualifications sorted. So it's like over the course of a season, it's been okay. But if you look back and you just go through the motions during the season, it was difficult because we started really good and we expected to keep up with that momentum. But obviously, the season has its own challenges and we had ups and downs this season. And one thing that I said throughout that course of that form is like once you're in a bad situation, I want to see how you respond. Like, I want to see how you're able to turn that around. When you're in the midst of adversity, what do you do? How do you respond? How you cope? And for such a young team like ours, I feel like, we did a good job of that. What's the thing that we did? We went back to basics. We went back to doing the basics. We stopped conceding goals. Yes, we're not creating as much chances as we would have liked or putting away chances, but we just went back to the basics, which is very difficult for a young team to do. A young team is always very naive. They just want to do their thing, but the coach was able to drill that down. And you're looking for characters, and I feel like I saw some characters during that stretch of that difficult moment. I'm looking at guys like Caicedo. I'm saying, okay, I think I can count on you. I can count on guys like Enzo. I can count on guys like Cucurella. I can count on guys like Palmer, even if he didn't get the numbers that we expected, but he just stuck with it, right? He just kept doing the basics, and hopefully the confidence comes back to him. And then on the flip side of things, you see guys that are not quite ready for that spotlight, guys that are not in that bracket just yet. And you're saying to yourself, Champions League is going to pose a whole different challenge. Like, are we going to be ready for that next phase? Which we can talk about that during the off season. But yeah, he taught us a lot about this young team, about Maresca, the young coach, and January we expected a lot of business. We didn't get that, so he kind of had to look within his team to get himself out of that difficult situation. And finishing fourth, I feel like it was I don't know, I don't want to say impressive, but I mean, it was what we expected, and yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, so basically the sort of the team met sort of expectations. Uzam, I'll throw that question to you as well. As a neutral watching Chelsea this season, or even before the ball was kicked, just like Adam mentioned, did you think the Chelsea team met the expectations that would have been set for them by the management and by the fans in general?
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess like from a black and white perspective, the objective, and you know, I I, I don't want to do because I don't like being a Debbie Downer, especially for my friendly blue neighbors. But it is an indictment of where ownership in conjunction with poor management, poor appointments, have brought the team to that was the goal, right? Because like we do need to get back to why is the goal for Chelsea challenging for top four anyway after the amount of investment that's happened, and it's it goes back to hierarchy and some of the mismanagement and all of that, and maybe today's not the day for that, but as far as 1 through 22 or 23, however Maresca cut it, and coaching, the objective was met. And there's one thing, like for me, we are in a results-based business. We've seen managers who showed promise, but ultimately the numbers didn't stack up, and they've been given their marching orders, and we've seen, and a perfect example is Pochettino last year. We've seen a guy who caught form at the wrong time of the season, ultimately fall short of his objective, and rightfully get dismissed. And now we've seen a guy who caught form at the right time in the season, went through a lull, came back, was resolute, fought, took it over the line, did what he was expected to do. And honestly, you can't fault him for that. And the books will show 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth was Chelsea. I've never seen the top four race that was like comfortable. If you're comfortably in the top four, then you're probably in a title race. So that's how it's supposed to go. And of all the teams that really had a shot at top four, I feel, but besides City, Chelsea were the more they showed more drive in going to go get top four rather than backing into it like some other teams who snuck into Europe this weekend. So for me, objective was reached. I think where I will like kind of throw a spanner in the works is when we talk about the players that and what they showed in terms of getting to that next level. And this is looking towards next season. I've always had this kind of idea that like you can't really develop world-class players. And I've had this idea for a very long time. I feel like you have to just get world-class players. Like it's very rare that you get a player who's not at a world-class level, and then over time, within the same team, he develops into a world-class player. I don't know if that sounds weird. It's very rare. Like you see it once every so often with each team, right? Like a guy like Saka, for example. Let's say with Spurs, a guy like Bale, who ends up getting sold. Kane. It's kind of like once every like Barcelona. We know how the academy works over there, but it's so rare for me to say go get a bunch of young future stars and actually develop them into stars. And I think what we're seeing with Chelsea is a sample of how rare that is. Like there's a whole bunch of talent that came through the door as young players, and they're all full of promise. And I feel like now the cream is slowly rising to the crop. To what Adams has said, is like those who are going to develop into world-class players, they're showing it now. And then the guys that you can kind of see, okay, you're going to end up at a Palace, you're going to end up at a Fulham, you're going to end up at a Sociedad. And no disrespect, like they're starting to filter themselves out, and the gap continues to widen.
Now that you brought that up, I'm going to be tempted to ask you to name one or two of those players.
Me or Adams?
Don't say it.
You.
I
Don't say it.
feel like it's more interesting for Adams to name because he knows the names.
No,
He knows
you
the
mentioned
names. We all know
players.
the names. We all know the names. I mean, I would be happy to
viewers
see.
on the board don't know the names. The viewers on the board
There's
don't know
nothing
the
I
names.
love more besides trivia. There's nothing I love more than naming random Chelsea players, man. That actually is the best trivia because who
So
isn't a Chelsea player?
let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. Uzo, you're going to name those players, then I'm going to get Adams to react to those players that you've named.
Fair.
And these players that I'm naming, that doesn't mean they all belong in like a Fulham. They
Yeah.
can also go to a Inter. They can also go to an AC Milan and have a decent career. I'm not saying like
More,
they
more
all need
AC
to go.
Milan than Inter, though. More AC Milan than
Yeah,
Inter.
it's always AC
Yeah,
Milan.
yeah, just try. They
No,
try switching the
no,
team.
I'm
They
saying
be
that
like,
because it's going to be a wide range. Like
Yeah.
I'm going to mention what's the backup keeper, Bettinelli or whatever his name is. What's
Nah,
his name?
man.
to be
No,
honest,
man. Bettinelli isn't. Bro, I forgot bro's name, man.
He doesn't
Yo.
even. But too many players, bro. Too
Nah,
many.
he's good. I forgot.
If I
I
buy
know.
you a Chelsea shirt, 9 out of 10 times you probably think I put a fake name on the
Nah,
back, but
nah,
it's a
nah.
real
I
player.
know, bro. I know his name, man. I just forgot.
But that's kind of my point, Paris, is like there's gonna be names where it's like, yeah, he obviously belongs in like a Wolves or something, but
Yeah.
it's all kind of all the same thing.
Like
The
even
people
even
that
our first choice goalie, Sanchez.
Yeah, he's mid-table player.
Yeah, he's
1000%. He was going to be maybe not him number one, but he's definitely on the list. You know who my number one is.
he's
Molowo, 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 Nani. Hey, Nani.
Noni Madueke, number
No,
one
no.
on the list.
For me, again, like there's so many names. Even a Jackson. I don't think Jackson exactly can lead the lines for a team that is trying to accomplish more than top four. Like
yeah,
maybe right at top four, right underneath that, fine, fairs. I can see him at a West Ham. You know what I mean? But like leading the lines every single Sunday and Wednesday, nah, he ain't that.
yeah,
No way, no app. And that's not a diss to him. That's a really, really
yeah.
negative.
That's just a
Like
standard right
Lukaku
now.
he didn't even cut that in the Premier League. He couldn't cut it as that. He had to go elsewhere. So I feel like you see a guy like Jackson, a guy like Nani. Honestly, the jury's still out on Neto because that's his first season at a top club. And you kind of wanted to see him be the guy that he was at Wolves, but better. And for me, he was right at there. I mean, he stayed healthy for the most part. That's a plus.
It's a
But
plus.
it's like the numbers, again, when you get thrust into the spotlight, the expectations are different, completely different. So you have guys like that, and you're like, we need more. We need more from guys like that. A guy like Gusto, a guy like Tosin. I mean, Tosin, I wouldn't say he was exactly bought with promise. He was born at 26. He's more meant to be a squad player, and he can be a squad player.
Yeah, I
Um,
felt like he was decent during this run.
yeah, he can be a squad player, but you don't want someone like that being your starting center back
Yeah,
week in, week out if you're trying to go challenge for like heavy majors. So for me, I think all of the center backs can all go. To be honest, like if
even
you're in,
Levi. I feel
yeah,
like Levi stays
one
though.
1000%. If I'm
Levi
talking
stays.
about as a starter, I'm not saying like go elsewhere. Like they can go to the bench. If I'm thinking of a starting pairing, right, going into like big Champions League games, none of their names really stand out to me and say, oh, that guy is going to be, marshaling a defense that goes on a run in the Champions League. I just don't see it. It can happen. I just don't see it. Um, who else? We already spoke about Sanchez. I think the midfielders have stepped up. I'll give them that. I think Caicedo, Enzo, you can see those guys going on to win important things, and they've been the ones I feel who have really, really showed the most promise. Lavia, a little bit more needs to be. We need to see some consistency with regards to being healthy, being fit, etc. But when he's been on the pitch, you can kind of see the promise. Like this is one of the better players in this system. Palma, like I feel like where there was no question going into this season, there's now questions going into next season. You see what I'm saying? Like he's left the door open where you can now say, okay, let's hold the horses on crowning this guy the best player in the league, like people were saying halfway through the season. Let's just hold the horses. Let's see what happens next season. Because I'm looking at a post that Salah makes. This guy swept every award and won the league. Man, that's levels. You know what I mean? When I'm thinking best player in the league, that's the kind of VVS that I need to be seeing on your fingers. I need to see you in a picture like this. Everything is yours. Then you can start to have those kinds of conversations. So I feel like for someone like him, it's like, okay, hold your horses. Let's revisit that conversation. And then when you really think about it, you're talking 3-4 players out of crazy amounts of investments, you know what I mean, that are actually showing themselves as players where you can say, I can envision that guy leading a team on a Champions League run, leading a team that's challenging for the title. And that tells you, yeah, it's for me, that tells me that approach doesn't work. That's what that tells me. Like if you're gonna buy 15 to 20 young promising players and you're only going to be getting a return of 3, 4, 5 out of like 20 plus, that's tough because you're trying to develop all of them. It's not like you're trying to loan some and like, figure out you're fielding an entire 11 of some of the youngest players in the league. And I feel like at some point you have to go get experience. You have to go get proven players. And so I'm very interested to see the way that they attack the transfer market this season. And because I think if you're going again for 24, 23-year-olds, then that means you're resetting the expectations again. When will the expectations finally be back to what Chelsea are expected to do going into?
and it's going to be different. So go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, Adams, I was just about to bring you in, right? So I wanted you to sort of react to the points that Uzo raised about some players in your team. And then I also wanted to just give you a verdict on your manager, Enzo Maresca. What do you think about him? Are you convinced that he can lead Chelsea forward? Like in terms of when I say lead Chelsea forward, push them up to, whatever, maybe Premier League titles or Champions
Mm.
League, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I agree with most of the things that Uza said. It's no, I don't think it's been a secret that a lot of our players were not just cut out for what it takes to be a Chelsea player. I don't think Jackson should be leading the line for us. I still think he can be a good squad piece for us going next season. Nani, you guys know how I feel about Nani, but he's not the level that is required. But obviously, I still think that he has the right. If he has the right attitude, he can stay in the team and improve himself. But all the other players that he mentioned, I agree. I don't think they should be here next season. Of course, we're not going to move all of them on. That's
Yeah.
not possible. But Champions League poses another level of challenge on its own because it's like you have to maintain a level of performance in the league and also Champions League because Champions League you have top caliber players. You can't go into Champions League changing your 11, having a team A, team B every time like you do in Europa League or Conference League. You have to have a group of guys like 11, 15 guys that consistently deliver in the league and the Champions League. And we don't have that team right now. So we need to go and we need to spend money. And some of the names that were being linked to, those guys can't cut it. We can't get guys like Delap for a Champions League run. You can't get those type of names can't cut it. Like now, you need to start looking at serious players in serious positions. And by this stage of the transfer window, you need to have narrowed down your targets to 2 or 3 names for every position. And it doesn't seem like what we've done, but it's still early, right? So I'll cut them
Yeah.
some slack. It's still really early, but yeah, I'm interested to see the next phase in this Blue Coal Consortium era, right? What do they do this time? Because last summer we saw them, they were a little flexible. They got guys like Neto, they got guys like Felix. But like, okay, these guys are not exactly what we wanted, but it's different from getting a 19-year-old and 20-year-old that they did get last, 2 seasons ago. So maybe now this season they learn and they go for the big hitters. Maybe now they go for guys like Osime, Sesko, the big names in transfer window, and they totally seal it. But yeah, it's just a whole different conversation. It's another level. Champions League is another level
Another level. Yeah.
entirely. Right?
I,
And
I, yeah, I wanted to say, I wanted to stop you down. Say, as in, I don't want us to start looking ahead. I think we'll come to maybe future shows. We'll start looking ahead into
yeah,
see who your club can sign, where they can improve, or if you want the change of manager and all that. So I think finally, before we leave Chelsea, I just finally want to ask you your player of the season for you, Adams. Who has been that player for you this season? And you're like, wow, you're my man. You've been the man this season for my team.
I think the answer is simple for most people, right? Because Caicedo won Player of the Year. I feel like he deserved it. But my personal player of the season, the player that stood out for me personally, like I'm not taking anything away from Caicedo. I've always thought that he's like that. You get so I'm not too surprised. But player that stood out to me was Cucurella. Like every game, I'm like, man, like you're really that guy because I didn't think he was gonna make it here. Like when I saw him his first season, I didn't
Yeah,
think he
he
was
looked
going to
like
be
he was
here. So
struggling. Yeah.
he turned it around. He came back this season, having won a major European competition, being one of the main guys in that team, and he just felt like a leader. He felt
Yeah.
like a leader, like his body language, that drive that you've seen in Chelsea teams of yesteryears. He brought that back, and you see him demanding, just being combative, getting crucial goals. For me, like he stepped up massively, and that's my player of the season.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think I see where you're coming from. I think Cucurella this season sort of stepped up his game. I think defensively, he looked for most of the games I saw. I didn't see all Chelsea games, but most of the games I watched, I think he looked like his man was not going to get the better of him. He looked like he was ready for it, and then he popped up with some very important goals as well. I remember a goal against Brentford. I think
He
during the
go against
Christmas as
Brentford, against United.
did. Yeah,
Um, can't remember other
some difficult
goals.
games where
Like
it looked
some,
like Chelsea was
yeah,
going to struggle. He just
um,
came up. So that
yeah,
was
and what we ask him to do is extremely difficult. Like
Yeah,
what in the position that
yes,
he's
he
been
would.
asked to play, it's like, bro, even Rich James isn't comfortable in those positions, and I just see him slotting effortlessly. Like he just goes into midfield. Sometimes he's playing as a number 10. Somebody like, yeah, he's
I,
been that
I,
guy.
I'm, I'm sort of happy that he's sort of starting to sort of fulfill that potential that we saw at Brighton. I think the season he left Brighton, I think he was their player of the season.
Yeah,
The season,
remember he
so
was supposed to go to City. He
yeah,
was actually
yeah,
supposed to go to City. Yeah.
City. So it's nice to see him, even though I'm not really a fan of Chelsea, but it's nice to see him sort of
What do you guys
achieving
think?
that.
I've been seeing a lot of takes on celebrations. What you guys think about the
Nah,
celebrations?
I don't say anything wrong in that, man. That's why, the thing about it is that there's a lot of irony and a lot of what hypocrisy going around, right? You see today, maybe it's even as a Liverpool fan, you see fellow Liverpool fans saying, "Oh, why are they celebrating like that?" And then in another this season, you are seeing those set of fans celebrating that way, you know. So it's the celebration police out in full force, trying to police how people celebrate. Please allow people
It's
celebrate,
just fans being fans, because I'm sure
Yeah,
Chelsea fans will do the same thing. It's the same for like other
exactly.
teams.
So
We've
it's
done
just
it in the
hypocrisy.
past, right? We've done it in the
Yeah,
past, and it's like,
exactly. So
but yeah, it's
I
just
don't think it
like
was over the top. I don't think it was over the top. I think it was fair. I don't know if Uzo has any sort of contrary view, but I think the celebrations from Chelsea. I don't know if you've seen the
I
celebrations.
mean, I think all you really need to look at is kind of the more senior players and their reactions. Like a guy like Reece James, he just kind of looked like, what are these guys doing here, man? And I mean, the reality is, you are who you are until you're not, right? You're who you are until you're not. You're not a champion until you've won. Um, so there's no need to fake it. Like for me, I've always hated the whole like fake aura. Like um, a team like a team like Spurs, right? We get
Yeah,
to a
I was.
Champions League, we get to a Champions League final and we lose to Liverpool. I don't want to see any single player taking off their silver medal. I don't want to see that. You've never been there before. Let's not pretending like, oh, we're used to more. No, this is the literally you lost, fair play. It didn't happen for you. But like, don't pretend like, oh, I'm used to the gold. No, none of you have won anything. Wear your silver medal with pride. You did well. Clap for yourself and move on. So for me, it's always about like
That's an
levels.
interesting
This
take.
Chelsea team,
that was
this
interesting.
this Chelsea team, right? They haven't done anything. Like, let's be honest, a few players in the team have. But this team as a unit, with this manager in this system, with
It's
these
a
set of
young team,
players,
yeah.
they
It's a young
haven't they
team.
haven't accomplished anything. This is the pinnacle. That was the biggest game of their entire careers. As not each individual player, of course not. Reece
As a
James has
team,
won a
yeah.
Champions League, but as a
Yeah, but as
unit,
a
that's
team,
the
yeah.
biggest team. That's the biggest game they've ever played. That Forest game, because that was the only time that something as big as Champions League has been on the line. So now the next time they're tested, no problem. They have a reservoir to draw from. Like, okay, we can go out and perform in our cup finals. And that's not a diss. For Chelsea, the football club, of course, it's embarrassing for them to be celebrating that, of course. But as a team, there's nothing wrong with it. This is the
Yeah.
pinnacle of where they've been. That doesn't mean that that's the farthest they'll ever go, but it's like that's where they are right now. So logically speaking, I don't have an issue with it. I do
Yeah.
think it's funny when you look at the difference kind of in the team. Like, and I know everyone's been seeing that speech that's been going around from the New York Giants, where the guy is like saying, I'm a champion, you're not a champion, you're not a champion, you're
Yeah,
not a champion. But today you can become champions.
yeah.
And for me, that's literally what Reese's face is saying. He's looking around like, I've done it all. None of y'all have done anything. So enjoy it. I'm gonna oversee, the little kids. Enjoy that. But now you can go do something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Now you've put yourself in that conversation. You've given yourself the platform to go do something. So I have no issues with it, but I can see how like hardcore, old school Chelsea, well, not old school, relatively new school Chelsea fans can have a problem with it.
Okay. All right. All right. That's what a way to run. What a way to run the Chelsea discourse. All right. All right. Let's quickly move on to the newest European champions. Tottenham Hotspur, Uzo. So yeah, so I'm going to start by asking you similar questions to what I asked Adams about Chelsea. How would you assess your team's performance this season? Right, this is going to be very
Wait, where
interesting.
did they finish? 17th?
No, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. So we're gonna let Uzo give us his take on his team's performance this season in terms of expectations and the eventual outcomes. And I know it's gonna be interesting. So Uzo, the floor is yours. Let's go.
All right, I'm done being shameless. Yeah, listen. First, I have an apology. I have a couple apologies to make. Let me get serious for a second.
I know one of the people that the apology is going to.
We're gonna start from the outside in. So I'm gonna start from the outside. So first apology is I would like to apologize to Adams first of all.
Okay.
Um, I argued with this guy about Pochettino for the longest. Um, I told him that he builds cultures, he changes lives. I sold him a dream. So first things first, Adams, apologies, man. This guy did a strong thing to both of our fan bases, and let him enjoy USA. Okay, second apology. The second apology is actually going to go out to George. George is in on the pod, and I should be dunking on George right now. George is the United fan for those who don't know. But my apology to George is last year I was on George's case because I couldn't believe that this guy was celebrating an FA Cup as if he had just won the quadruple. He was going on a tour. In fact, it reminds me he was going to start signing shirts. And I was like, what is up with this guy? You had an abysmal season. You finished with a negative goal difference. You finished out of all European places, and the only reason you're in is because you won the FA Cup. And I was like, you know what? Fairs. Maybe that's the new standards at United. So my second apology goes out to George. Winning does feel a little bit different. And my third apology now we'll start going inwards. Third apology goes out to Ange. I feel like based on the outlook of the season, and I'll get into the nuts and bolts of it, what he accomplished right there at the end was almost as difficult as the encapsulation of the entire season itself. Because like you weren't just getting over a physical hurdle in terms of the injuries that we're dealing with and the lineup that he was able to field, but you were also getting over probably one of the biggest mental hurdles in Big Six that's currently active. Like one of the biggest blocks that we've ever seen, just like the inability to get over the line. And during the game, I could just hear all the different speeches over the years. It's the history of the Tottenham, or lads, it's just Tottenham, or
Yeah.
um, they always get close but never over the line. I think Dybala said that when we played Juve. This was like maybe 8 years ago in the Champions League, and it's just like so many different quotes. I can just hear them. Conte saying they don't like to play under pressure. They don't like to play for anything important. You just hear all of these quotes and it's marinating in your head. And as the realization is setting in, like, yo, we're about to finally do it. You're thinking, wow. It
You know
just
what
puts
we
into
code?
perspective how crazy.
You know the code in the like edits. Put all those
Oh,
videos.
they've been flying around. They've been flying around. And guess what? I'm liking and retweeting every last one of them. But I kept thinking of all those quotes. And so, like, credit to Ange. A lot of people are going to try to downplay what he, well, actually, no one, surprisingly, nobody has tried to downplay what he did. They've tried to downplay, obviously, Spurs because, nobody likes to see Spurs fans happy. But as far as him as a manager, everyone was like, hey, yo, that is kind of cold. So massive credit to him. Full apologies. And then, of course, I got to apologize to my guy, Brendan Johnson. He's now scored arguably the most important goal for Spurs in the last 40 years. That is insane. And, of course, it had to be him. I was praying so desperately that it was an own goal, but the goal was ruled in his favor. So I
Wow. Wow.
I have no
It just
choice.
had to be him, man.
I have
Bro,
no choice.
we
It had to
need
be
to
him.
start calling out guys, man.
It
I mean,
had to be him.
call out Nani more. Call out Nani.
Listen, I did. I don't know. His own curse is different. But so first of all, I got to get the apologies out of the way because I don't want to minimize any of what happened on Wednesday because I feel like it's not just about the competition that we won, it's the fact that we did win. And I feel like that's more of an internal battle that you really, really have to like is an uphill battle. Like I always said, whoever finally did it, when Conte couldn't do it, Jose couldn't do it. Well, Jose wasn't allowed to do it. I know he's probably somewhere like, I could have done that. But when all of these managers with so-called pedigree couldn't do this, and then you come in and you finally do it, I feel like we just have to give you your respect. But as far as the season, it's bittersweet. I'll say that it's bittersweet. Do I care about our league position right now? No, I don't. I could care less because as far as I'm concerned, all of the objectives have been met. Win a trophy, get into Champions League. That's it. No one said how it needed to be done, right?
One stone to kill two birds,
Right,
man.
right. One stone killed two birds. And you know what? People have been using the Europa this way since the dawn of time. So all the think pieces that I was hearing about, oh, this final, no one should go to Champions League, brother. When
It's all
Emery was
grapes.
dropping out of Champions League and going into Europa League to win it again to get back in the Champions League and finishing 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th in La Liga, nobody was saying nothing. So I don't want to hear it. The Europa
Let
League
us
has
sour
always
grapes.
been used this way. It's
How
always
about
been
how
used.
about for people that say it's a much weaker competition than it used to be because
Who
people are not
cares?
dropping in.
No. Again, even beyond the who cares, I'll say who cares because again, you should only win a trophy that you got into the tournament. We can also argue that why are teams being allowed to just come straight into the knockout competition because they failed in a different one? Like that never made sense anyway. But also, you go look at the stats, and teams who drop in rarely ever win it.
Yeah, I
Besides
think I saw a
Emery's
stat
run,
like
besides
I
Emery's
think
run
out
of
of the
dropping in
five,
and winning it,
only
They're
five
getting one.
teams have dropped. Like maybe the last 20 seasons or
the
something.
last
Only
20
five,
seasons, yeah.
only five people have wanted to
Yep.
drop from the
I
Champions
remember
League.
when Inter dropped in, they went to the final, they lost. So it's not something that's just like a given, like, oh, if they drop in, they'll outperform us. And also I look at the Champions League this year and I'm like, the teams that would have dropped in, I mean, we saw Arsenal spank PSV like 13-0 on aggregate in the knockout rounds of the Champions League. It's not like the Champions League teams are all great. There's a lot of great teams there, but they usually move on to the next step. The teams that will be dropping in are teams like a Benfica or teams like um,
Maybe Club Bruges.
Club Brugge. Teams of that pedigree. They're not teams that are any different from the Lazios and the Frankfurts that we did have to play, Lyon, that United had to play, and Bilbao. Like they're no different from that kind of tier of teams. So I'm not really
Yeah,
hearing any of the excuses.
I totally
But for,
agree with you on that. Yeah.
yeah, but for me, the objective was accomplished. You have to give him credit for that, but you also cannot discount some of the absolutely abysmal run of form that I mean, the history books will not be able to write enough about this. We didn't even scratch 40 points. Like we didn't even touch 40 points in an entire league
Now
season.
those teams that got relegated are they're
No. Yeah, we got 3 of the worst promoted teams in history, all at the same time. All at the
I think
same time.
yeah, I think that would be a subject for like some other time. We need to talk about the quality of like what's happening with promoted teams coming. I think because I think this is the second time in a row, if I'm correct, that
Man, hey, you
three
guys, watch out though. Sunderland isn't going back. I said it here first. They ain't
we're
going
going.
back.
Yeah,
You said the same
we'll come to them.
about Ipswich. We ain't trying to hear none of that,
I said
man.
No,
about
I guess
Luton.
this other team, this other team,
No,
Luton,
Luton as well. Luton.
Yeah, I said about Luton too. Yeah.
Kenny Wash Road.
Man, they used and abused. I think they almost got relegated from championship again, actually.
Yeah.
They've,
Yeah.
they've been relegated. They've actually been relegated to
Oh, they
League
got
One.
relegated. Oh
Yeah,
man.
they're in League One right now, man. They got relegated. Adams.
Oh man.
That was so surprising, man.
Do you know how bad a prediction it is? That not only did the team you predicted to stay in the Premier League get relegated, they're now down 2 tiers.
Yeah, Sunderland is gonna be different though. They got aura, man. They got Joe. What's his name? Bellingham's brother,
Job.
Joe Bellingham. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something
let's
like
see
that.
him against some grown men. But yeah, ultimately, I think with Spurs, you have to look at it and you have to say, yeah, he got the objectives done, but he gave you a lot to be concerned about. It's like in a weird way, it's like if you were coming into this season with questions, boy, you're going into next season with 10 times more questions. And so, do I think he needs like a new contract and a statue, like people were saying? Like,
The
relax,
third time is better though. The
relax.
third season is better.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
listen, he's
What?
clearly not afraid to put pressure on himself, and
Nah,
that's something
you know.
that's
Now let's dip it though. It's crazy for someone to say I usually win things in my second season and actually do it.
Do it.
it's people are saying it's the coldest quote of all time. I have to agree. Like you think of some of like I'm the special one,
Yeah,
blah blah
it's
blah.
like Jose level, man. It's Jose
It's
level. Yes,
because he
yeah.
didn't say this like when we were flying. He said this literally in the
When he
middle
was under
of a
pressure.
very horrible start to the season.
No, that is cold.
And when
I
and,
have to
and
give it.
every time they pressed him on it, he
He stood on
remained
business,
firm.
man. He was like, nah.
He remained firm. So
Yeah.
listen, like Michael Jordan said, it's easy to talk shit when you're up 20 points when you're ahead and you're winning, front running. But when you say it when the clock is still 0-0 and nothing has been done yet, that's when like you really are a man of your mental. And honestly, that's always been one of my favorite things about him, the mental aspect, right? He backs himself, and it's part of his stubbornness. He backs himself to the hills. He backs his team to the hills, and he's not afraid to put pressure on. You remember last year when they were talking about top four race and Newcastle putting pressure on us? This was like in January. They were 4 points off us. He was like, well, we're closer to Arsenal than Newcastle are closer to us. So are we in a title race? And the interviewer was like, well, I suppose so. He was like, well, there you go. And when they were asked, oh, can you win the league? He was like, allow the fans to dream. Why not? So he's always been very consistent in terms of putting his team in conversations, whether or not you agree that they need to be in those conversations. He's not been afraid of putting his team in those conversations. And so I don't mind seeing him coming back and doing one more year. Me personally, if I was his advisor, I say leave on a high. Just
Wow.
ride off
Nah,
into
man.
the sunset.
For those, you guys gonna go replay some of our episodes, man. Go
No,
to
no, no,
our
no.
episodes.
This is what we call a complete 360, right?
It actually isn't. If you ask me right now to make the decision, he goes. But I'm saying, do I have any like valid claims for him to leave? Not really, not anymore, because as far as objectives, if we're in a result-based business, he got the objectives done. Nobody said how it needed to be done, right?
Mm.
Nobody said he had to be top four. Nobody
That's what
said
they
he
say.
had to be this.
Work smart, not hard. Work smart,
He,
work
Nah,
listen,
that was hard work. I'm not sure if that was smart work.
or hard work. Are you sure?
That was
he
that
got it.
was
He
kinda
got
like,
it through the back door for sure. But like, what a glorious way to do it. You know what I mean? What a glorious,
Fair
like,
play. I'm telling you, man.
what better way to do it? There's literally
Deli-
no better way. So if you're not going to
deliver
win
the
the league,
trophy.
against United, man. Yeah.
exactly, and he didn't beat like some tin pot like team in the finals. Yeah, they played tin pot, but at the end of the day, history books would say Tottenham beat United in
United,
the
yeah,
European final. Like that's
yeah.
insane. That's insane.
That's
So
actually insane. So fair play to him. Like before the
Yeah,
game,
yeah.
would have seen a lot of pundits say, "Oh, United have European pedigree. They've won the competition." Maybe
I heard it on this podcast. People were telling me they have
Yeah,
winners,
yeah,
they
yeah.
know
He
how to
actually
win.
still, yeah. He was so positive before the final. He was like, "Nah, we'll win it.
yeah, we'll
We'll win
beat
it."
them. And fair play to Ange. I think so. As a neutral, I was sort of happy for Spurs.
I was.
Yeah, I sort of was happy watching the all the celebration videos.
It meant a lot to them. Like you could like
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it was
fair
good to see, man.
fair play.
Son
Yeah,
was most deserving of this. Loyal to the club, been there for what 10, 11 years. Finally get to lift his first trophy. Same year Harry Kane got his, by the way. And yeah, it's been
it was nice. It was nice for Spurs, and
yeah,
yes, at least the narrative around them will change, right?
And the thing is, the ripple effect of that is like when you're not playing with that tag, with that mental block anymore, it kind of allows you to push on and actually like
dream.
accomplish more things. Yeah, like it's like that's why I said like that first one is always the most important one. That doesn't mean we're not gonna go on and win the Champions League or win the league, but if we're in the Carabao Cup final, there's not that weird pressure of, oh my God,
Oh,
it's the first one in 20 years. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, at the end of the day, credit to him, credit to him.
Yeah,
Nothing
man. Why not,
much
man?
more to
Go on
say.
and do it again next season. Why not?
I mean,
so
that's not on the board. Levy,
guys,
time is up.
guys, I'm sorry. I'm gonna come. I'm gonna get to. I'm gonna come to us for us to sort of name like our team of the season, like individual. Like I'm gonna like the three of us are gonna sort of like
Mhm.
agree on the team
Agree
of the
on, yeah.
season. Yeah. But before that, I also just want to quickly. I know we've talked about Liverpool a lot. We've won the league. How many weeks ago? 4 weeks ago. Like you said, the celebrations were even. I saw an interview where Allison was like, "I'm tired. I've been celebrating." He was actually said, "I'm tired." So yeah, it feels like there's that like people are exhausted. Like yeah, we've won it. Yeah, and all that. So, but I just want to say fair play to and his slot as well. Shout out to him as well. Great guy. He came in. He was not forced. He was not sort of like overwhelmed with expectation or the status of the club or who he was replacing. He came in. He knew what he wanted to do. He stood by his own principles and he got the job done. So fair play to him.
It's nice. It's nice to see a manager, a Dutch manager specifically, come in and is it an era has come to an end? Like actually just go in and do your job.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing speaks for you more than just going in and do your job. And
Do
shout
your
out to
job.
that Dutch manager. He's got a new job now. I heard,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I
We'd
wonder
love
what
to hear
era he's going to go end of.
about the So yeah, thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, so I think he's the first Dutch manager to win the Premier League. So that needed to be mentioned. So
Bro, I don't really care for, like, bro, so what? He's the first. Nah, man,
I
bro.
don't. He doesn't.
Like, how many
You don't
Dutch
care about
managers were
you
there
don't care about
anyway?
your feelings,
Wait, how many Dutch managers were there anyway in the
I
top four?
respect Ronald Koeman,
bro.
Everton legend.
Bro, they're like, he's the
If you
first.
were
It
in
was the
Chelsea
first.
now, I'm sure you will be the person to say,
Nah,
"Oh, he
I
was
won't
this
care
guy."
about that, man. I don't care about
I'd
him
have to
being.
tell you, he's the first 19.5-year-old to play left back for a title winning team.
Bro, he's a,
And
Now,
you
but
know,
these are the kinds of things that you do when you win. Adams, I know it's been a while, but you start to find cool angles to tell your story. Like they were
yeah,
saying, 17 years, we're 17th. Our captain on the night wore number 17. Little things like that.
yeah, and still on Liverpool. I think going to the point around expectation and the eventual outcome. I sort of remember the preview of the season where we were on this platform, sort of giving our predictions, our expectations based on how we felt the season was going to come. I remember myself and Liam, who is also a guest on the show, mentioning that we're going to be satisfied with top four because the previous season we had finished third and we didn't know what we were expecting from slots, but we're a bit positive. So we were like, okay, top four will be fine and maybe a domestic cup will be okay. And wow, 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 wow. That's all I can say. Wow. It was just like, I was like, I'm sort of like, anytime I think about that, I'm like, yeah, fair play to slots. And then Salah as well. I need to mention Salah as well, man. At some point, I won't lie, I'll raise up my hand and say, after like the way last season went, I thought it was finished.
Mm.
I was almost leaning towards the point of, there was actually a section of fans who were like, you know what, Saudi money is coming in, cash him
yeah,
money
take it.
now.
Yeah, I remember. I
Cash,
remember you said
yeah, you
that too.
remember that point? They cash him money now because he looked like he was struggling, he couldn't, and he just Slot was like, nah, I'm gonna change the way you play. I'm going to change your role in the team. I'm going to get the best out of you. Like Salah has always been saying in all his interviews since we won the league, he's always like, he's went to the manager and told him that this is how I was playing before, but if you change my role to this way, I promise you, I'll deliver for you. And Slot was like, okay, I'll give you
Listen,
a
that
second
Salah
player.
picture with all the jewelry that he collected this season.
Oof,
Listen,
oof,
I'm not
oof,
gonna lie, Adams. I was off the
oof,
train, the Ballon d'Or train, but now you're looking around and you're like, who
oof.
else can put that kind of
Welcome
picture?
back on board.
Hey
No,
man,
no, no, no. Let's be honest. So this season,
Welcome
who
back on
else can
board.
post that kind of picture?
Dembele, man,
Oof.
Dembele might be.
He won. He
Dembele might
won.
be able
He,
to post it.
he won top goal scorer and top
Yeah.
assister in his league.
Oh, a sister. I don't know about a sister.
This guy won top goal scorer, top assister, player of the season, champions.
Like, oof,
Woo! Hey,
oof.
listen. All I'm saying is Dembele better win that final, and he
Yeah,
better
I think
score
I
a
think
hat trick there.
I think that's one of my only fears. The Billy wins that final, then you might say okay, they might, but that's not what that's by that's by
But yeah,
the
no.
Uh,
yeah. So we'll see how that is going to turn up. Does anybody want to add anything on Liverpool before we sort of
no,
move away?
No,
nobody
no.
can.
I actually do. I actually do. I actually do. I
Adam's
actually do.
tired of Liverpool. He's tired of the Liverpool.
No, no.
Bro,
Obviously,
what are we
obviously.
doing, man? You guys have won.
Hold
Yes.
on, hold on. Obviously, credit to Slot. Obviously, credit to Slot. He did an amazing job, and credit to. I've seen people saying credit to FSG. How people forget, but massive credit to Slot because he wasn't. I don't think he was put in the best position to succeed, but he made do with what he had. And I love those interviews. The excuses are for losers interview. The interview about basically being able to be content with what you have and find solutions within that because there's no better person to say it than someone who has done it. There's nothing more because it's like all conversation ends. You can't say, oh, then why didn't you blah blah blah. It's like you go look at his track record and he was actually speaking facts. In Feyenoord, when we won the league, we had these many players leave. We had to replace this with this, internal solutions, etc. He delivered the league over there. And Feyenoord is not some powerhouse team. So I like when people humble brag. That's what I call it, humble brag. Like you're listing out your accomplishments in a assured way, and you're kind of using that to dissuade because all the talk that we've been hearing from a certain red half of London has been just geared towards all of these weird excuses. And I don't want to make it an Arsenal conversation because he's not the first manager to do this. You've heard this from so many different managers. You've heard this as some sort of excuse making. I love when a manager comes in, is aware of the job. Like even Amorim right now, he's annoying me in the sense that you left a fully functioning sporting team to inherit this bad, awful team mid-season, and then now you're telling us how bad and awful the team is. We knew. You're the one that didn't know clearly, apparently. So welcome to the club. So I love that interview, and I absolutely love Sly, and I love the fact that he's kind of dispelled this whole Guardiola myth of oh, it's because City are a juggernaut that nobody else can win it, or somebody else don't want it, or it's because Klopp is a generational manager that's why nobody else can win, or somebody else has won it. And I feel like it gives everybody else the right to then say, you know what? Why not going into next season? Why can't we be a title contender? Because Liverpool were nowhere near the title in terms of all of our predictions when we all sat up here and predicted the season. So why can't I say, as a Spurs fan, why can I say I should put pressure on my board and my manager to go deliver a title? Why can I put pressure on Chelsea to go deliver a title? Why can I put pressure on United with one game a week to get their situation fixed and go deliver a title? I feel like what he's done, he's dispelled all excuses, and he said, focus, get your house in order and go. How much did he spend? Chiesa for 15 mil or 12 mil, however much it was. Again, all the excuses are gone. Transfer window, that excuse is gone. Oh, new coach, that excuse is gone. Oh, the board didn't back him, that excuse is gone. We bought the wrong player, that excuse is gone. Injuries, that excuse is gone because they lost Allison, they lost Konate. We at different points of the season, he was still able to keep the train moving. So for me, credit to him. I feel like he's restored parity in the league. He's given everybody else a right to say, you know what? We're done with all the excuses. It's time for
You know what
everybody
you're
to just
doing. You can
compete.
do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can do it
Just
within the season.
compete. Just
Okay,
compete. Free all the excuses, compete. So yeah,
compete.
credit to Slot. Credit to Slot for sure.
Good analysis from you. So that's why we will love you on the show, man. Always bringing
Yeah,
up
no,
the good
Adams
points.
doesn't like it because he knows I'm coming for his team next. You better
Okay.
believe if you're predicting top four next year, anybody on this
Yeah.
platform, if you
Right.
come on here predicting top four,
Right. Okay. So I think
Man.
next week we're going to get some sort of Arsenal and maybe a United perspective on their season. Chooks is going to be joining us to give his takes on Arsenal and Mikel Arteta and what phase of his project the project is in or heading to.
what phase is Mikel Arteta in?
So Uzo, Chooks, sorry if you're watching, just get your notes ready, man. We can't wait to hear what you have to say about your team, Arsenal. Okay, guys, let's now sort of crack on into the team of the season, right? The way it's going to work is I'm going to sort of like the three of us are going to sort of. So I'm going to come to you, maybe you, Adams, for the goalkeeper. I come to maybe Uzo for the defenders. I might chip in as well, just like that. And then maybe if you disagree, you can also sort of
Mm.
input your points, right? Okay, so let's start from the back, right, as usual. Guys, the goalkeeper. Um, who wants to go? Who wants to give a stake? The goalkeeper
Sales,
of
man.
the season.
Sales.
Sales.
Yeah.
Uzo, seems like you have a different view.
Sales my goalkeeper of the season.
Yeah, he actually did win the Golden Glove with David Raya. So
I'll say Allison for me. I don't subscribe to the woke nonsense.
Alisson was injured for majority of the
during the
season,
season, yeah.
I wouldn't say
yeah.
majority.
But like at least 30% of the season. So he's not. I don't think he's in contention. He should at least be in contention. It's Raya. You can say Raya. You can say Sales, and
So
to win the most clean sheets with a team like Nottingham Forest, I think it's impressive.
Not really. It's a defensive team.
Uh, that how often does that happen? How often does a team like that get the most clean sheets in the league? That's not gonna happen next.
Wait, did the team get the most clean sheets or did he get the most clean sheets?
Well, you know it is. It's him and the
yeah,
team.
team
Yeah.
exactly.
No, no, no.
So
When I say that, is like because sometimes a keeper can have the most clean sheets, but as a team, that didn't mean they had the most clean sheets
Oh, I
because
see
yeah,
what
other
you.
teams might have had more with a different
yeah,
keeper.
yeah. I think he had
Uh
Yeah, he played all the games.
games.
So
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I know, but a team could have had more clean sheets than his team, is what I'm saying. But
No.
maybe they shared keepers. Anyways, the math, whatever the math is, but no credit to him. I wouldn't want him as my keeper of the season.
Yeah, he's my keeper of the season.
I'm going Allison.
Listen, okay, okay, that's fine. So
You have the
Pereira,
tiebreaker, Pius. Who do you
Piers.
pick?
Yeah, I'm a Liverpool fan, but in order not to sound biased and to be objective, I'll go with Adams. Sales for me. So we're going to stick with sales for goalkeeper of the
The
season.
team
I
of the
listen,
season is already off to a stinky start.
I love you, but nah,
Thank you. Thank you
let's
for
be
being
honest, man.
objective for once.
Okay, right. Okay, so let's move to the defense. Let's start with the left back. Left back.
It's a
So you want to go
stinky
first?
position, man.
This stinky
Yeah,
position.
it's been tough to pick. It's been tough to pick.
You have names like, do you want to go
Yeah, I'm
Kukurea?
I'm just gonna go cuckoo, man. I'm gonna
I
go
know you
cuckoo.
was going to go Kukurea.
That's how I'm just gonna go cuckoo. I feel like he stepped up massively this season. He had a decent season. There were times that he legitimately had shouts of being the best left back in the league, but obviously we dropped like the team's performance dropped and but I'll say he's is up there. Obviously I'm being biased, but why not?
Okay, okay. Also, do you have any? You want to
Um,
any names?
can I just say this might be the worst team of the season ever, like in the history of all teams of the season.
Why? Why?
I so look at these names.
Well,
No offense to Cucurella, but come on, bro. Sales Cucurella, like that's how we're starting. Um, I guess shout out to Kirkes from Bournemouth, but left back Louis Skelly, but he didn't play there the entire season because he was being
Yeah,
shuffled. But whew, boy,
that's
hey man, it's my boy. It's cuckoo.
I'm sure there's gonna be a name out there that the comments come up with that I've overlooked, but
Yeah, I
I'm
think
going
it's the Bournemouth guy that won it,
I'm
right?
going Kirkes personally, but just because I can't put Cucurella in. You know, can I say something about Cucurella just real quick, like 5 seconds? It's so sad how once you're a banter player, it's almost so hard to shake that tag. This guy was a serious player when City and Chelsea were going for this guy in Brighton. Like he was I wanted him at Spurs.
yeah,
And after that first season at Chelsea, it's so hard to take him serious. Even when he has good performances, he's like, I just see someone that shouldn't be doing that. Even though like he's only had one bad season, technically, after a couple good consistent seasons, and he's back to his best. But you know what?
yeah,
Because I just said that, Cucurella gets my vote because it's unfair that you're forever labeled a banter player because you have one bad season.
yeah.
I'm
I think on the
saying.
okay. Yeah, I think that's a fair shot. I think I'm looking at the Premier League's website, Timo, based on Alan Shearer's, and Alan Shearer has gone with Kekes. So fair.
Yeah,
So
I would have went with Kirkes, but because of what I just said, I'm gonna give credit to Cuckoo.
Yeah,
Kukurela,
cuckoo.
yeah,
Another shout was all I know.
I know too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't shout. He if we're doing like podium finishes, he probably come third. You
Third,
know.
yeah, yeah. We're not saying he's the one, but
Yeah.
he deserves a mention.
This is
Yeah,
not only nice. It's okay. It's okay. It's
as a
okay. It's
Niger
okay.
boy, we just know.
But yeah,
Come
you
on,
always
let's
gotta
move on.
put you guys gotta put that in, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay,
I'm
so
sorry, man. I'm sorry, boy, but we just had to do it, man. We just had to do it. We just had to do
we
it. You
got to
would
do
like
it,
that
man.
conference league. You would like the conference league.
He will cook in the conference league,
Yeah.
man.
That's
Okay.
where they need to be at, anyways. They had no business in
No
champs.
business, man. No
I'm
business.
so glad we're finally done sending all these awful teams to Champions League to go represent Premier League, man. Like it's good to have heritage back.
Bro, we still have
Chelsea's,
Spurs, man.
the
Spurs is there. What are you
cities.
talking
You still doing this? It can't, do I need to bring my shades back? Is that
Come on, Adams. Why are you disrespecting the
hey, hey,
European
man.
champions, man?
you better don't disrespect your Europe. We have more. We're gonna be wearing a badge in that Champions League. You know that, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's fair, it's fair,
Yeah.
fair, man.
Oh
My
man.
goodness. Okay, let's move on to the center backs, right? I think this should be easy, guys. Center back pairing.
Yeah, we
Um,
already know. We know it's Van Dyke.
Wait,
yeah,
will it
right.
be easy though?
It's Van Dyke. I don't know I don't know who's gonna pair him. I'll probably say Gabriel. I think he'd had a really good
Nah, he
season.
was injured for more than a
Yeah,
quarter of the season. The
yeah,
same
yeah.
thing you just said about Allison. There's no way
So I'm just and then I'm gonna go one of the center backs from Forest because they had the best clean sheet too. like they and Arsenal. So I'm gonna go either Milenkovic or what's his name or Murillo.
Murillo.
Yeah,
It has to be Murillo for me. Murillo and Van Dijk.
yeah, Murillo Van Dijk. I agree with that.
Although for me, I wouldn't mind putting Horson in there. The Bournemouth guy, the guy that's off to Barcelona. I thought if we're
Madrid.
not gonna go
Madrid,
by,
Madrid, not Barcelona. Madrid.
huh?
He's off to
It's off to
Madrid.
Madrid.
Madrid, my fault, my fault.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
I
I think Gabriel, if not for his injury,
no,
I
no.
think
Without the injury, he's for sure in there. I thought he was one of the best center backs this year, but the injury did happen, so
yeah,
we can't discount that.
Yeah, so I think yeah, Van Dijk and
Murillo.
Murillo. Yeah, that's fine. I will
Yeah,
stick
this is
with that.
officially the worst team of the season that we've ever done. I don't think anything can even save it.
Yeah, yeah. Al Insurance went with Saliba, but okay, that's
That is absolutely false. And I'm so tired of the aesthetic bias too, like some of these players get, bro. Absolute
it's
aesthetic
difficult.
bias. The guy was god awful in the running without Gabriel, making mistake after mistake. It just makes you wonder, like the fact that bias exists with fans and it is existing with pundits is so weird. Like, what are you
Okay,
watching?
okay, guys. Let's do we've actually not done the right back, so let's do right back quickly.
Man, that's another position that is stinky, man. I can't think of any right back. Trent,
Nah,
No,
I
it's,
don't know,
it's,
man.
it's not Trent. Trent didn't even play every game.
Yeah.
nah, and you can't even you can't.
No,
You can't
so
even.
who was
I think Timber gets a shout for sure for me.
maybe yeah, Timber. I don't know, man. It's difficult. It's even more difficult than left back.
Okay,
I think
that's
I'll
fine.
just go Timber, man. I'm not. I know I'm forgetting someone, but I'll just go.
Yeah,
Man,
but what about this
what's
guy? So Alan Shearer went with Munoz, the Crystal
Munoz
Palace
from
player.
Fulham. Oh no, I
oh
mean
yeah,
Crystal
Crystal
Palace.
Palace,
Yeah,
great guy.
yeah.
I think that guy
I
has
think
more
I think
central
that's the
shots.
that's the that's
that's the
elite
yeah
ball
yeah yeah. I
knowledge.
agree with that. I'm not mad at Munoz at all. Yeah.
That's elite ball knowledge. I'd go Timber though personally.
Okay. So, but I will go Munoz. So I think we'll go with Munoz. So,
Yeah, I
so
go
right now
Munoz too.
we have a goalkeeper and a back for Sales. What you guys are Sales, Cucurella, Virgil van
Hey,
Dijk,
respect, man. Respect Gorilla, man.
Murillo, and Munoz. All right.
The fact that the team of the season probably finishes mid-table is absolutely comical.
How would they finish mid-table though? Because
It's a
they don't
mid-table
finish
team.
mid-table because they're the best. Remember, they're the best in the league.
They're a mid-table team.
They're the best in the league.
I sort of get the angle Uzo is coming from, but come on,
They're the
man.
best, man.
I tried to save it, but hey, listen. Go ahead, man.
Hey, midfield, man. I
Let's
look.
go
I don't care what
midfield.
anybody's saying. I'll put Caicedo in there. I don't care how you guys want to do it. Caicedo gets in midfield. Midfield three. Put Caicedo in there some way somehow.
Caicedo, Uzo, any names?
I think what I've seen floating around Caicedo, Gravenberch. Um, of course, I think Gravenberch has to be the first name on there because I mean at some point a Liverpool player has to make this team if they won the league in dominant fashion. Everybody's pretending like I guess they won the league with one player apparently,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think first name on the list for me is Gravenberch. I get that Caicedo has been a cult hero for a lot of Chelsea fans in terms of like his performances in driving the team. But when you're the fourth best team in the league, you don't automatically get the shot.
Bro, we were okay, guys. From where? From Munoz.
No, I'm saying when you're the fourth best team in the league, you don't have like a divine right to get everybody in. That's all I'm saying. Because I've
Oh,
seen a lot
okay.
of arguments out there like, oh, it's an invalid list if this guy's not in it and that guy's not in it. Like
And then I think legitimately for
the
my
only
team
team
is
that has a
women.
divine right to get 4 or 5 players in the team of the season is the team that won the championship, that won the league.
Yeah.
I even said team that won the Europa League.
Relax, relax. I don't think any single Spurs player gets anywhere near that team. Not even the bench.
Yeah, man. I know Declan Rice had a decent season.
I'm gonna go Rice and Gravy.
Rice and Gravenberg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the Liverpool boys, Sobo and McAllister,
Star.
they did
Yeah.
good.
I'm actually gonna put McAllister. So
I
I'm
see, I see, I see why they should be there, but I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go
Caicedo.
Caicedo.
So we're doing a midfield three, right? Are
Yeah,
we
Yeah.
doing a Cam? Because if so, I can put McAllister at Cam, and then go Gravy and Rice.
Yeah, I think I'll go with that as well. Also.
But honestly, I think Caicedo should be ahead of McAllister. So it's like if I was doing it in a different way, I'll just do them three as my midfielders. But it's a nasty midfield. But
Yeah.
although imagine that team would never concede. What? Rice, Gravy, and Caicedo.
Still do. Oof.
Well,
Hey.
because they would never attack.
Hey man, we can put the Rice. I thought Rice was a better. Oh, never mind. He wasn't. But
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. I think
so,
that's. I
so
think it's pretty. I think the names that we've mentioned are sort of yeah. Every one of those names would deserve to be a shout to be there.
so what are we
So
going with?
I think there's also a shout out for Morgan Gibbs White. I don't know. I don't hear his name shouted out a lot, but when
Yeah,
you're talking about attacking
Elaborate.
midfielders, like you want to talk about somebody that was on the team that finished in the
okay.
European places. He was a huge driving force.
Okay. So let's settle on the three. So maybe we might have to do some sort of vote here or something to sort of nail down our three. So
I
Caicedo,
think we all agree on Rice.
okay,
Yeah,
we all agree on
and
Rice. Yeah,
Gravenberg for
Rice,
sure.
We all agree on Gravenberch.
Gravenberch. So the last name,
It's between Caicedo and
McAllister.
Callister and the like. And I'm going Caicedo. That's going to be my final. I just don't think McAllister was. I don't think this was his most outstanding season. I feel like he was even better last year. So from that perspective, and I think Caicedo has legitimately been good. He's been one of their best players this season.
so
So
that's fine. So since we have two or three for Caicedo, then we go Caicedo, Rice, and Gravenberch as our midfield three. Interesting.
Chelsea
Right.
can't get any more players in this team. Enough.
Yeah,
All right.
Enough.
So our front three right now. Let's start from the left wing, or is that 11?
Yeah, 11.
Left wing.
Left wing was an awful
There's
position this season. I'm gonna go Eze. I know he doesn't necessarily play primarily off the left, but
No,
he gets designated there
no.
sometimes. I'm gonna go Eze. If it's not Eze, you're not gonna. I don't know who else.
How
nah.
about
I don't.
Diaz?
No, he's
Nah.
what?
Let me give you a name.
What?
Let me
Diaz
give you a
scored
name.
12 goals, or how many goals this season?
Please, Diaz was being complained about every other game. Let's not do this.
I won't lie. As a Liverpool fan, I complain about Diaz
What?
every week.
How
But
about this?
he had a,
I'm just,
he had a
I'm
good
just a
season.
messenger, man.
Adams,
He had a good season.
Adam, let me
He had
say
a good
this. You cannot be in the team of the season if your team is considering selling you. Like, there's no way. There's no way. There's no
What
way.
kind of criteria is that, man, bro?
No, that's
No,
no,
come
no, no,
on.
Uzo,
Come
no, no,
on.
no.
Come on.
No,
That's
you
fair.
can't do that. You can't do that.
Come on. That's fair.
Judge based on the season. Don't look at whether they are selling
Nah,
you or
come on.
not.
That's
Judge
fair, bro.
based.
If your team can't wait to get rid of you, there's no way you're going to be the best in the
My
league.
goodness.
But that is another sticky position, just like right back.
Okay, let me drop a name. Let me drop a name that you guys will
Yeah,
agree,
drop a
might
name.
agree on. Brian Buemo.
Oof, that's
I don't consider him a winger, though.
I don't too. I don't, but
They play like in the two strikers. I hate when people do that because
well, you like to. We have to force him in though. Like we have to
nah,
force
we
him in
don't.
11.
We do not have to.
We
force
do.
him.
We do. We
If
have
we're
to force.
forcing him
He
in,
has
why not Eze? Why not Eze?
Nah, he
Nah,
had a
man,
better season
easy.
than Easy, man. Come
But
on.
so the thing is, man, we got some names. So from the front three, I just think about the names that have to be there. Isak has to be in there.
Salah has to be
Chris Wood has to be in there. Of course, Salah's gonna be there.
Chris Wood does not have to be in there. Absolutely
on, man.
not.
20
And he will
goals.
not be in there.
there. No,
20
no. Chris
He
Wood.
doesn't.
He doesn't have to be in there at all. He does not
Okay.
have to be in there.
Okay, Isak then. Isak is the striker.
So the three settled then. Isak, Salah, and one
And
other person.
Mbuemo. I'm going Mbuemo.
Buemo. I think I'm also gonna go Buemo. So
I guess
so
mine is
sorry.
irrelevant. Yeah.
Yeah.
So since my vote is irrelevant, Brennan Johnson.
Bro, Brennan Johnson probably had the same type of season that Eze had. Eze didn't have a better season than Brennan Johnson.
So for laughs, man.
No, Eze didn't have a better season than Brennan Johnson.
Yeah, speak your truth, Adams. From your lips to God's
Because I
ears.
said Eze scored the winning goal in the FA Cup final.
Shall bring Izzy. They can have
Exactly. And,
Let's go through the team again. So we have Sales in goal, Keke, Cucurella at left back.
yep.
Kekerela. Let's combine them.
Cucurella at left back.
Van
Munoz
Dijk and Murillo.
at centre back. Munoz at right back.
What an
Rice,
awful team.
Rice, Gravenberch, and Caicedo in midfield. Then Salah, Isak, Mbeumo in attack.
Buemo. What names? What names? What are the notable names that are missing out of this list? Diaz. I felt like Diaz should have
Yeah,
been on the
yeah,
left.
yeah. Diaz.
Sobo and McAllister, obviously.
Football
Yeah,
did not have a
McAllister.
great season here. McAllister, why are you just naming guys that
Yeah.
McAllister, Raya.
McAllister.
Raya could have been the
Raya.
goalie,
Yeah,
given goalie of
Raya.
the season.
Kirkes for sure gets a shot.
Perkez,
There's a
my
name
boy.
that Alan Shearer mentioned in his team that we didn't mention at all. In midfield, Tonali in
No, no,
Newcastle.
not for me. Not for me. No
Not
way.
for you. Maybe
Maybe
maybe maybe you
Carabao.
have Newcastle
Sure
bias.
is a Newcastle fan. Yeah, get
Yeah,
out of here.
Newcastle bias.
That's he won us a trophy vibes.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the same way I mentioned Izzy.
Who
Johnson.
else is there, man? Who else are we missing?
What a terrible
Chris Wood.
season.
Chris Wood. I think Chris Wood. Chris Wood and maybe what's his name? What's the name of this guy's partner? Mbuemo's partner.
Wisa.
Wisa.
Johan Wisa.
Wisa. Yeah, man. Coach of the
Yeah.
season.
Coach of the season. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
It
take
has
it
to
out
be
of the way.
slots. I
it's
I,
not,
I don't know why they gave it to that Nottingham Forest coach, bro.
they did.
Yeah, they did.
Did they give it to Nigerian Forest coach?
I think so.
Are you sure?
Maybe,
I
man.
thought it was
And probably
slot.
need to double check.
No,
I
I
thought
think
I
Like
saw him. I thought I saw him
no.
receive
Maybe it was
some.
just maybe you saw him as nominees. I think
Oh,
slots won.
maybe I saw his not me.
it would be criminal to give it to anybody but usually the league winner doesn't win coach of the season because it's usually someone that you expect to have done it.
But that
In this
doesn't make sense
case,
to me.
there's
That makes
no
no sense.
I mean, because you can technically give it to the winner of the league every season, but it's like if that's your expectation and you meet it, that's fine. But if someone does 8, 9 positions above their expectation, you can't not acknowledge that. You know what I mean? But for me,
Money
this season is
slots.
very
La
straightforward.
la 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 la.
This season is very
Money
straightforward.
slots.
It has to be Slot. It has to be
Slots.
him. And there was
Yeah.
actually some very good coaches this season because I credit to Thomas Frank. I think Brentford's all time ever point tally. Credit obviously to Nuno Espirito Santo. That was an insane job. Of course he bottled it at the end. Credit to Bournemouth's coach Iraola, Fulham's coach Marco Silva. Like a lot of coaches did an amazing job. Eddie Howe,
Hmm.
Glasner, like there's a lot of contestants for me. Like in terms of like
Yeah.
on any other season, if Pep wins the league, one of these guys is winning it. But
Yeah.
this year, unfortunately, somebody lapped them and it was them.
Money slots. La la
All
la
right,
la
that's our
la.
cue, guys.
All
Thank
right,
you,
okay,
guys.
guys, yes, thanks for that. The team of the season. Okay,
Champions
finally,
again, ole ole.
before we sort of round up the session quickly, some quiz questions to go through. Uzo versus Adams this week. So the way this I'm gonna be running this is gonna be like fastest finger or fastest answer. If you get the first person to give me the answer will sort of get that. So I have like some 4 questions here. Very easy questions anyway. Um, so are you guys ready to go?
Yeah, who was the first Dutch
First.
manager to win the Premier League?
No. Okay, so this one is an who am I sort of question, right? So I think this one will be easy. I have won 5 Premier League titles as a goalkeeper, and I'm the only goalkeeper to win the Player of the Season award. Who is that? Who am I?
Player of the
Five.
season.
Five
Five.
league titles.
It's it can't be Emerson.
You mean Ederson?
Edison.
I mean it can be, but I don't think it's him. Um,
It's either him or Manchester United's goalie, the legendary one,
Schmeichel.
Michael. Because that's the only one I think.
Is this Premier League era, Pius, or are you
Yeah,
going to the
yeah.
olden days?
No, Premier League era.
I'm just gonna
Um,
go Edison.
I'm gonna go Van der Sar.
You know what? I actually don't have the answer here with me.
What kind of quiz master are you? Wait, there was a time when the goalkeeper won the Player of the Season. Nah, man, I don't think that. I don't know, man.
Is it Czech? Could it be Czech?
It can be checked. They didn't win 5.
Nah. I don't think Czech ever won Player of the Season.
Also,
Yeah, we didn't win
Chelsea
5.
didn't win 5 Premier League
Premier
titles.
League title.
Wait, we won 5. What are you saying?
Not
Wait,
under him, is what I'm saying.
okay.
No, you didn't win 5. He didn't win 5.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, we'll come back to that. I can't really actually don't have the answer to That's so weird.
Yeah, if you
Okay,
know the answer, man, comment down
yeah,
below. And if you don't,
exactly.
if it's not right, call out Pius, man. Call out Pius for
For being an awful quiz master. Okay, so
Where
this
did you
this
get
one
the question from?
actually, man, you know what? I can't even. I'll have to, before the end of the show, I'll try to get it. Okay. I'm one of three Australians who has scored over 50 Premier League goals, and my celebration includes me punching the corner flag.
oh Tim Cahill. That's easy.
Tim Cahill, that's correct.
Three Australians, wow.
Yeah, who has scored over 50 Premier League goals? Who would the other Australians be?
Gotta be Mike Viduka for sure.
Viduka,
I should think
Gotta
so.
be maybe Harry Kewell.
Harry
Q.
Kewell.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess it is
Elite,
believable. Those are top strikers.
elite ball
Yeah.
knowledge there, man. Yeah.
He's googling it. Look at his eyes.
Nah, man, bro. Come on,
Who,
man.
who am I? I helped
I'm like
Black.
that, bro. Huh?
So the next one, who am I? I helped Blackburn win their only Premier League title
The
before scoring.
coach?
No,
Oh,
I'm a
go
player.
ahead.
I helped Blackburn win their only Premier League title before scoring 148 times
Arden
in 10
Shara.
correct in
It's
10 seasons
easy.
for Newcastle.
You didn't even let him finish the question.
Yeah,
Easy, man. Easy, bro.
Adams is on
Yeah,
fire.
you gotta do better, bro.
I didn't know we could just interject. It's not like we all didn't know the answer from when you said I helped Blackburn win their first title.
Who am I? My strike against Burnley in the 2019-2020 season was voted goal of the season.
Son.
So
No, no, since we're doing that,
Where's that
no
one?
problem, no
correct,
problem, no problem.
correct.
Adams is Wayne White Beater, so he thinks he can just act like an area boy. We here.
Yeah, nice one, nice one. So, final one. Who am I? When I was 21 years old, I scored from the halfway line against Wimbledon on the opening day of the 96-97 season.
Beckham?
Ooh.
David Beckham. Oof.
Oh no, that okay.
Adams,
I had no shot at that.
Adams, you're on fire, man. You're on fire. You're on
Too
fire, man.
easy, bro. I'm really like that, man. You need to do better, bro.
Yeah, easy questions, man. So, who's the goalkeeper that has won? Who's the goalkeeper that has won
Whoever that
Premier League?
I don't think that's a right. I don't think that's a right. A goalkeeper that player of the season, bro. Everybody would know. Everybody would know that. Like, if
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not
for
the
a
Premier League
goalkeeper to win
era.
player of the season, that means you must have done something like you must have done something really extraordinary for you to win player of the season. And if it's not like 80s, like when I don't know, if it was Premier League, and the only legendary goalkeepers we've had is Schmeichel, Peter Cech, and who else? Maybe Van der Sar, and some of those Arsenal goalkeepers, Seaman and Lehman, or what's his name? And I don't think any of them won
One
goalkeeper of the
goalkeeper of
season,
the season.
player of the season.
Yeah. So I
Maybe
feel
what you wanted to say is goalkeeper of the season. Goalkeeper of the season. And in this era, in our era, the
yeah,
goalkeeper that has won the most is Man City's keeper.
yeah, Ederson. So Ederson has six
I don't think
six
he's
Premier
ever
League
been player of the
titles.
season either. He has 6. Now, when these guys retire, they'll have crazy numbers, man.
So I think the answer will have to be Peter Schmeichel because I'm looking at the list here and he's the only goalkeeper that has 5 league titles.
And but did he win player of the season though? No, man. Those days, nobody cared about goalkeepers,
Keeper.
man. Like even defenders didn't win stuff. It was defenders did. Defenders did.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. We'll leave that to you guys to sort of help us figure out. So this is where we'll have to sort of bring the show to an end. Before we go on the show, yeah, our thoughts will go out to
Oh, it actually
those.
was Peter Schmeichel.
It was British Michael,
He
right?
won it in 95-96, player of the season.
Season.
That
Yeah,
is crazy.
yeah,
See, I didn't even, bro.
I just
yeah.
I
So
just
I
looked,
just
I just looked up the last list of all the winners. He's the only
yeah,
goalkeeper to have ever won it.
yeah. So British
Nah, I
Michael.
need to see what he did that season, man. He
Oh
must have
my!
been.
This list is actually interesting. Vidic has won it twice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
defenders have won it.
I think I saw it. Yeah,
Company
Salah
won
has
it.
joined. Yeah, Salah has joined Vidic and some other guys who winning player of the season twice.
Yeah,
Okay.
Kevin De Bruyne won it twice as well.
Yeah,
Vidic won it twice. Henry won it twice. I think
twice.
that's the list.
Yeah.
Oh, Ronaldo won it twice, back to back.
Hey, man, they probably rubbed some of my boys there because how hasn't John Terry won it?
Yeah.
He's never won it actually.
Captain, captain
That's
leader
crazy.
legend.
But
That's
it's because when you win, Lampard wins it.
oh, Lampard only has won it once, right?
So Lampard won it once in 04-05, of course. What was the other year that Chelsea won the league?
We won the following year, 0506.
And they gave it to Henry,
It's crazy.
which makes sense. He was on fire.
Then we won it in 2009,
Conte.
2010.
Rooney won that
with
one.
Ancelotti, Abi.
Yeah. And then we won
Yes, Ancelotti. No Goosey Dink.
no, it was Ancelotti. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we won, was it when else did we win? So
Conte.
1-2 under Mourinho.
Yeah, 14. But Hazard won that one,
Yeah, Hazard won that one.
and he deserved that one for sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks, guys. This is where we sort of have to bring the show to a close. I was just about to say, our hearts and thoughts go out to some Liverpool fans who were sort of, what's the word now? We're sort of in the midst of violence today, as we're celebrating the title win. Somebody, senselessly was using his car to sort of ram through some Liverpool fans. That was crazy and sad. So thoughts to the families of the individuals involved. So the season is over. Internationals are back. There's an international
Only
coming
Nine's
up,
back, man. Only Nine's
coming up,
back.
going down in London. The Unity Cup, Nigeria, Jamaica, Ghana, and don't tell me I've forgotten the name of the last nation.
I don't know, man. Don't
I know
look at me.
it's an Africa and Caribbean sort of vibes. I'm sure they'll be serving some sort of jollof rice and
Gonna be
peas.
some jollof, some
Somewhere.
party oxtail,
I'm
and
telling you, man.
yeah.
You won't be surprised if Sean Paul also comes to perform.
Bro, but that these Caribbeans, man, these Jamaicans, they always say they can play in AFCON. Bro, I know it's going to be a friendly game, and it's not the result is not going to mean anything. But please, let's not even do that, man. Let's not do that. Don't even.
Why can't they though? Why can't they? They can.
No, not that they can. They say they can win AFCON.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
No, of course not.
But there's no difference. The same corruption and poor management of
There's
football
difference
federations
in
is all the
like
same.
the quality of players and the football. Like they're not like
I
that.
wouldn't really say that though. Like
No,
I think
they're not.
I think similarly to African players, right? I mean African teams, if Caribbean countries kept all their talents, they would be much better.
Are we keeping our talents?
That's why I said
They're not
similar to us. I said similar to us.
They're not similar to us, man.
They also don't keep their talent.
Look at guys that we've had come from our bro. What are you saying? Yaya Toure, Drogba, Eto. Nah, man, you need to take that back, bro. What are you saying?
So they haven't been good Caribbean players? Are we going to pretend that that's not a thing?
Now, players that are from Caribbeans that are good, the ones that stayed. I'm not talking about
the ones that, I mean, of course, they haven't played for those countries because they're even in a worse situation. Than I feel like you can't really discount that. Like that's part of it.
Man, we have
guys like Sturridge, Sterling. These are all Caribbean guys.
If you talk about those guys, we can talk about guys like Saka. We can talk about those. We're talking about guys that stayed and played. Guys that stayed and played.
You don't have a tournament that's equivalent to ours where like you can even use the same compare.
That's because they're not good enough. They're not good enough to make that type of. They don't have the talent.
I feel like that's the wrong way to look at it.
The guys that they have, the best guy that they have is this guy from Aston Villa, Leon Bailey. That's the best player that you can say. Is that the level?
No, you can't really say that.
Okay, who's the best Caribbean player you can think of? Maybe Dwight York, right? That's the best one I can think of off the top of my head.
You were saying Leo Bailey is the best all time? That's insane. Better than Sterling?
You can consider Sterling. Sterling is English. Like I'm talking about players that played for them. Guys.
I'm just saying, like the reason why players don't play for them, we have to understand that there's a lot of geopolitics.
But we have that too, though. We have that too.
Yeah, but they have it much worse because however you want to say like Africa's been blah blah blah. The Caribbean has suffered even worse because they're even more recently underdeveloped than we are. So I don't think it's fair to discount that.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
No, because Africa predates especially the Black Caribbean countries.
Hey man, only night. We're inviting you to only night to come and defend that opposition. If you have
Yeah,
a
man.
Caribbean fan, bring them along. Bring them
Yeah,
along.
man. I'm gonna be there, man.
Yadman.
Hey man, shout out to all our Caribbean brothers, man. It's all
Yeah.
love. It's
It's
just
all love.
it's
It's all
just
love.
just
Yeah.
banter.
You remember
All
who
love.
defended you?
Yes. All
All
right,
right, man.
guys.
All right, safe.